Making It Grow is brought to you in part by Santee Cooper, South Carolina's state-owned electric and water utility. More information on green power and energy conservation programs online at santeecooper.com. The South Carolina Department of Agriculture, reminding you that certified South Carolina agricultural products help make South Carolina grow. McLeod Farms in McBee, South Carolina. This family farm offers seasonal produce, including over 22 varieties of peaches. Glory Foods, celebrating Southern food with a soulful heritage. Glory Foods, a way of inviting South Carolina back to the dinner table. FTC Diversified, a proud part of your local communities, providing communication, entertainment, and security. ArtFields, a 10-day art competition in Lake City, South Carolina. Additional funding provided by International Paper.
I think it really is warm now because I was talking to somebody and his okra has come up through the soil and is about that big, and okra does not like cold weather. So let's call it spring. Hello gardeners, I'm Amanda McNulty with Clemson Extension, and I'm so glad that you can join us tonight for Making It Grow. We're coming to you live from historic downtown Sumter. And Terasa Young is in the chat room, and she would sure enjoy having some other chatters in there with her. When we go inside, she's going to tell you how easy it is to do whatever it is required to become a real official chatter on Making It Grow. Making It Grow takes wonderful trips, and oh, we had the best trip. We went down to Lake City recently, and they were having a poultry show, and the birds were just gloriously beautiful, and the noises they made equally so. Tonight, we're real excited. We're going to chat with Karen Fowler. Karen is the director of ArtFields, and you know, Making It Grow is going to be there this coming Saturday with a live audience show at 2 o'clock. I hope that you've already gotten your map out and found how to get to Lake City so that you can join us while we're there. Dr. John Nelson will be joining us tonight with another of his mystery plants. And as part of getting ready for our trip to Lake City, Gary Forrester and Vicky Bertagnolli, who are going to be two of our panelists while we were there, have come over tonight to get warmed up and get in the spirit of having that wonderful live audience at the Bean Market in Lake City. Oh, there's so much to do, so much to talk about. Let's go inside and get the show started. And I'm always so happy to look across the studio and see my dear friend, Terasa Young. And Terasa is a natural resources agent, and she specializes in water quality. And Terasa, y'all have told us that there are a lot of things we can do around the house ourselves.
Good evening and happy Earth Day. Today we celebrate the 45th Earth Day, and it is true that we all do make a difference. So just check today, maybe make a pledge to do one thing that you can think of that will help the environment. It can be as small as having your soil tested before applying fertilizer, or as big as considering using all natives in your landscape. You choose. Have you visited the Making It Grow website lately? It has had a makeover, and as you can see, you can now watch Making It Grow from any internet device. There we are live. A little bit of a delay, you'll probably notice. And at the bottom of the page there are links to recent shows, shorts, and web exclusives. So there's content that you can view there that may not even be accessible through television. So I do encourage you to visit the website. And I'd love to have you join me in the chat room this evening. Simply go to the Making It Grow Facebook page where you can click on the green Let's Talk icon. When you do, you'll be joined to the chat room. You can log in with Rumble Talk or Twitter or Facebook, and you'll be chatting with us very soon. Already 13 speakers and 4 viewers. Do remember, if you're using a mobile device, to use your favorite web browser to get to Facebook and not the mobile application. Amanda, back to you.
Thank you so much, Teresa, and I'm so happy to welcome my dear friend Vicky Bertagnolli. And Vicky, you've actually been traveling as part of Team Making It Grow, and I think when we get down there to Lake City, we're just going to feel like old hands, aren't we?
I think so.
And you are, of course, in charge of Master Gardeners in Horticulture in Lexington and in Aiken County, two wonderful places for growing things. And what's happening with y'all recently?
They've got lots of events going on. One of the big ones that's coming up, the Lexington County Master Gardeners are hosting a jamboree May 2nd at Saluda Shoals. And you can check out more on their website. It's lcmgv.org. And but we've got tons of events going on. There's events that are listed on Clemson Midland's Hort Facebook page, and then also on the Aiken County and Lexington County county websites.
And at that Lexington Jamboree, Gary, you should come dressed up because I get to pick out the best hat. And you could use a hat when the summer sun starts burning
Amanda's
down
the
on us.
wacky hat judge.
Gary Forrester, of course, is our agent down in Horry County, a big area to take care of. And you said that the phones have been ringing off the hook. What are people concerned about?
Well, of course, a lot of trees that got damaged during the last ice storm. We had a big problem with that. And a lot of our turf grasses kind of suffered a little bit with the cold temperature, so they're slow in coming back, if coming back at all.
And you said that people are asking you to look into a crystal ball and tell you if their turf grasses is going to turn green, but what are you saying?
Well, you really can't at this point. And really, it's nighttime temperatures that dictate when grasses really start growing, and our nighttime temperatures have been so low that the grasses really haven't started growing yet. So, another 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to know how much.
So some people, those lawn people are on pins and needles.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Well, I'm glad I'm not a lawn person. And now we go check in with our favorite professor at the University of South Carolina, and that would be Dr. John Nelson, who's the curator of the AC Moore Herbarium. John, are you happily at home on Duncan Street looking into the Skype camera?
I am happily at home on Duncan Street, and we just had some rain a little while ago, so that was kind of interesting.
Well, it is. It washes the pollen off, and then we don't have to worry about watering our vegetable gardens if we have one started. We've been getting nice little dews from Mother Nature. Well, John, I know that a lot of wildflowers and surprise flowers and surprise weeds are coming up, and you're so nice to help people identify them, and you don't even charge us anything. What's the best way to get a picture to you if there's something puzzling us?
Well, it's real easy, Amanda, and as you know, it's spring, as you say, and a lot of pictures of plants have been pouring into the herbarium to get identified. It's real easy to do that. If you have you know how to use email, just send us a JPEG image as an attachment to an email, send it directly to me, or you could send it to Plantman, and we'll take care of you. And if you're close to Columbia, if you can drop by, we'd be happy to show you the herbarium. Let us know that you're coming first, and or we'll just give you curb service and run out to your car to pick up what you've got.
It's a little hard to find a parking space sometimes up there. It certainly
It is.
Yes, it is. It's very hard to find a parking space up there. Well, there are lots of ways that you make it easy for people, and we sure do appreciate it. And have you got how difficult is this plant tonight on a scale from 1 to 10, would you think, John? The mystery
Well,
plant.
I think everybody's going to know it.
Oh, okay. Well, that must be a present from the Easter Bunny, and we thank you so much. And we'll see you in a little bit. Thank you, John.
All right.
Okay. We've already got a caller. How about that? Randall's calling us, Teresa, from your home base, Florence, South Carolina. Randall, thank you for calling us. How can we help you tonight?
Yeah, my uncle want to know how you kill them moles.
How you kill those moles. Oh, gosh, they are a pesty problem when they make those tunnels through the yard. And does anybody have a favorite or successful story to tell about them?
They're actually really hard to catch, and what you're going to end up doing is you're not trapping to catch them, you're trapping to kill them. Harpoon traps seem to work the best. One of the things you have to do is to get rid of moles. It takes a lot of persistence and a lot of patience. But you'll go out, you'll see their raised tunnels and mash them all down, and then come back the next day and see which ones are active.
I see.
And then you're going to read the directions on your harpoon trap, and it'll tell you how you're supposed to set it into the ground and how to actually set the trap. And you're probably not going to catch them the first time. You're probably not going to catch them the second. How many times do you think you're going to catch them? It may take a while before you catch them, but persistence.
Persistence.
And you have to make sure you get those active runs.
Do people have moles on golf courses that they worry about?
Oh, yeah.
And what do they do?
Well, of course, the golf course is so big, and it's not going to
Usually
create
not
that
gonna
much.
make not so much of a
unless it's on
problem.
a putting green or something.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
That would be a problem.
But they usually are in places where it doesn't.
Yeah, and
cause
plus,
too much
they do enough insect control where there's not a whole lot of insects out there, and there's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of carts running over, and lawnmowers running over, so the vibration kind of keeps them at bay. But yeah, they're on golf courses.
So if you could turn your yard into a golf course, a home golf course, maybe that would help too, some Randall. Henny's calling us from Edisto. Henny, what you doing down there? How was Easter down there on Edisto? Henny, are you there?
But it was a great day. It was a great day.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Happy Earth Day.
Thank you, Henny. Henny is an old friend of mine from Columbia.
I'm gonna tell you what. Don't you be getting after me now. I think this salt air's rusted my brain.
Okay.
I have it's a ponderosa lemon, the large lemon, and it did lose its leaves. Root system is okay, but I noticed today we've got a cold snap coming, so I'm not quite pruning anything back too severely right now, but I've got something. It looks like no, y'all don't like these questions sometimes, but if you can imagine, limb, no leaf, and it looks like a black, it's not an insect or any kind of little creature, but it's fuzzy like a black caterpillar.
A black caterpillar. But it's not a black caterpillar.
But it's not moving. Now, I'm just giving you a description. It's not mold. I don't know what it is, and I'm not quite sure what to do. I know I need to, prune back the branches.
Is it
but
just
I just
on?
wondered.
Henny, is it just on one branch, or is it on a lot of them?
It's just starting to be on like 4.
My goodness.
Not many at all. And I'd read something about something called a citrus greening disease that's on the citrus that came from Florida. But it's because I don't have any leaves right now. It's just the branches I'm getting ready to prune back. And I just wondered, you think I ought to run it into Charleston, or just prune it, or do you have a clue?
No, I don't have a clue, but I'll find out if anybody here does. Anybody have a clue on that?
I do not.
I do not.
I think a picture or a
picture.
sample, either a picture on the Facebook page or take a sample down to Charleston might be the best
I think a picture would be wonderful, and we can ask, if you send us a picture and put it on our Facebook page, we can ask our friend Stan McKenzie, who's a real specialist in that, if he'll take a look, because he started the Southeastern Citrus Society. So we would look forward to put that picture on our Facebook page, Henny, and it was good to hear from you. Well, he said it was pretty easy, so let's see if we can take him at his word. Dr. John Nelson, the University of South Carolina, who's our dear friend, and every week he comes to us with a mysterious plant. John, tell us what you got.
All right, Amanda, and I just want to say Happy Earth Day to everybody out there.
Thank you.
It's Earth Day.
Vivat Linnaeus.
Vivat Linnaeus. Long live Linnaeus. Well, anyway, tonight we have a real interesting plant. It's funny that all of our plants are real interesting. And this one is an herb, and it is in the bean family. Beautiful yellow flowers that look like little tiny sweet pea flowers. They're real tiny. And the leaves are very, very attractive to me because each one of the leaflets has a real pretty sort of a chocolate brown spot, sort of a U-shaped spot. Now, after the flowers are finished, of course, the little fruits come on, and of course, everything in the bean family is going to be a legume, beanie weenie. And in this case, the legume curls around just like a snail shell. Ooh. And it's covered with little soft spines. And they wouldn't hurt you if you step on it, but they got these little spines on them. It makes them kind of pretty and a little bit unusual. And I'll give you another little hint. It's not really much of a hint, but this plant is related to the cultivated alfalfa that is a lot of times grown in meadows, and then it gets mown for, the cows to eat. Anyway, this is a related species to alfalfa.
My goodness, that was a obscure clue. If you ask
Give a
me.
better clue.
That really wasn't much of a clue, I guess.
So these little things aren't hard? They're not those.
No, I don't remember ever stepping on one and going, oh, or anything like that.
My
I
goodness.
think they're just sort of soft little spines.
Okay. Well, anybody have any ideas? Must be meadow something. Meadow clover.
Well,
No.
you got the clover part
Well,
kind
that
of
was
right.
okay. Kind of right. Kind of right.
Easy. I thought this is an easy one. The reason it ought to be an easy one is because this is a very good soil builder.
Oh.
And of course, it is one of those species that will fix nitrogen in the soil. So if you do have it in your garden and you don't want it there, you might just leave it until it kind of dries up and goes away in the summer, because it's good for the soil.
Well, what
That's
do you?
still not a good enough hint.
What do people what do people call it who do better at interpreting your obscure
Well,
clues?
the people that get it better, they look at the little spines. They say, well, that little fruit looks like a burr.
Burr.
And it is a clover.
Burr clover.
Burr clover.
Burr clover.
Okay, burr clover. Okay, and we have a weed called burr weed that hurts.
Yeah.
So that's different. Well, John, I think that's fascinating to hear that the legume curls up like a snail. That was really interesting. Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
great stuff.
Yeah, all righty. And then it has full of seeds and it drops them, and I guess it comes up next year. And
Yeah, I think there's only one little seed inside the pod.
Really? But to think that it curls up, you could get time-lapse photography and put it on National Geographic. Wouldn't that be fun? Well, John, are you going to bring some fun things to Lake City when we get together this coming Saturday down there?
Amanda, I'm thinking of doing a botany trip all day Friday, getting down
Wow.
to Lake City.
Okay.
Who knows what I'll find between Columbia and Florence County.
Well, there's some wonderful farmlands there and all kinds of different environments. I think you'll come up with a plethora of puzzling and plants, and we will look forward to being with you. Thank you so much for coming and being with us at the Bean Market this coming Saturday at 2 o'clock. Dr. John Nelson, live and in person. We'll see you then, John.
All right, looking
Okay.
forward to it.
All righty. Ms. Terasa, how about those speakers and those viewers? How they doing over there?
Well, I would say we are doing pretty well, up to 20 speakers and 7 viewers, and the conversation, as usual, is all over the place. Everything from bird thieves, and if you want to know more, you're going to have to join in the discussion, to the difference between centipedes and millipedes. So you might find some critters in your house or in your garden. Easy way to tell the difference between centipedes and millipedes is look for how many legs per segment. 1 pair per segment, you've got a centipede, 2 pair per segment, and you have a millipede. Other differences as well, and if you want to learn more, join in the discussion on the Facebook page. Amanda, back to you.
Thank you so much. And Gail is calling us from Gaffney. Hey, Gail, how are things up your way, and how can we help you tonight?
It's okay.
Good.
I've got some sort of insect in my front yard, and my grass is not growing. I've got holes all in my front yard, over 100 holes or more, about as big around as a man's finger.
As a man's finger,
And it's like, you know how the ants dig the sand up, and they have around the hole? Well, this is like, the insect has dug dirt up, and it's on one side of the hole, a big old pile of dirt on every one of the holes. And the grass is not growing.
Well, the grass probably isn't growing because it's wintertime still, but you're the insect specialist and you're the grass specialist, so y'all put your heads together and tell us what you
I wonder
think.
if it's actually a hole or if it's squirrels.
It could be squirrels.
Because squirrels make a little divot, and they're not really big. They're an inch or so across, and they'll have a little pile of dirt on one side. And I don't know if it's actually a hole. Squirrels have been doing that all
How
over my
about
yard.
earthworms?
The earthworm's not going to make a hole that
That
big.
big,
And
they
they'll make a
wouldn't.
little pile of dirt.
They do make a little pile of
Yeah.
dirt.
It could be mud daubers.
Really? The wasps that are going to that make those nests on the walls? My goodness. I guess you're going to have to go out there, Gail, and maybe with a flashlight at night. Is that the best way to find out? What would you think?
Early in the morning.
Yeah.
Early in the morning? Okay.
As far as the grass problem, I mean, there may be some other issues that are
uh-huh.
going there as far as the grass problem.
Okay. Would they hurt the grass if it were indeed mud daubers?
Well, the only thing that they would do would be loosening the ground up where the roots would dry out and grass. The earthworms will do the same thing. If you get earthworms in there that really aerify the grass, it dries up and dies. So, but I would suspect there's probably something else going on with the grass.
With the grass, okay. As you said, it was a hard winter. Yeah. Well, Gail, if you go out there in the morning with a flashlight or can come up with something, now if she puts it won't help to put a trap over or a cover over them because you think it's probably something that's flying in and then
You
leaving.
might try a soap flush.
Uh-huh.
And see what that does.
And you get a bucket of
a gallon of water and put a couple of squirts of liquid dishwashing soap and pour it around and just see what comes up.
And if something's in there, that'll probably make it come up. Okay. Well, we hope that gave you a little bit of help, Gail. And I think you've got something that I thought was probably insects, and you said it was environmental.
And it's actually not insects. What we've got, this is a vine that came from my house.
Part
and
here.
what we're looking at here is there's the bark on it, and it's been split open. And there's another section right here where you can see it a little bit better down here. And this is actually winter damage. What happens is there's water in the plant.
Yes.
And whenever it freezes, it's just like whenever you put a water bottle in the freezer, especially if you have it completely full, and it freezes and it expands. And so the water doesn't have anywhere to go, so it splits the bark. And then depending on how severe it is and what plants they are and things like that, sometimes they can die. And this is the way that a good number of plants in landscape die, but you can lose plants in the nursery this way also. Through bark split. So the hard winters are tough on them.
And I think I've heard that if the morning sun hits them, sometimes that makes it worse. Is that correct, Gary?
It could. It could. And really the biggest problem you have is when we have warm spells and then it gets real cold. Because when you have warm spells and the plant hydrates, starts picking up water and wants to grow, and then boom, you get 20 degrees and
it's full of water.
And it can split trunks of trees too. You can get big splits.
Yeah.
And there's not a thing in the world you
cracks.
can do about it. Because we need to keep our plants well hydrated. So yeah.
Move to Florida.
Those things. Move to Florida. I don't think so. It's going to be hot this summer. Kay is calling us from Hartwell, Georgia. We're glad to hear from our friends over in Georgia. Kay, thank you so much for calling us. And is there something we might be able to help you with?
Yes, and I love your show. Just a quick question. What are your thoughts, once again, on using cross ties from the big box stores for raised bed gardening?
I think it's perfectly safe. And Tony Melton tells me that. Do y'all feel the same way?
As long as and the problem that we had back 20 years ago is they used to use arsenic in the railroad ties for preservatives. Well, they've gotten away from that. Now they're using more copper-based compounds, so they're a little bit safer. And if they're old and they have leached out, and there's no creosote in them, I don't see any problem with them. If you do feel like it's a problem, you can always line them with plastic, and that'll keep anything from leaching out.
But when I've looked at it recently, because we've got that question recently on Facebook, and it seemed to be that reputable educational sites seem to think that the old creosote ties and that were problematical, but that you're pretty safe using these now. And I think but again, as Gary said, if you're worried about it, you can just line them, cover them with a little bit of heavy duty plastic, and you wouldn't have to worry about it for even 1 minute. So I hope that reassures you. Barbara's calling us from Florence, where we have so many friends who come and help us with the show. Barbara, what's happening that we might be able to help you with?
I have fire ants in my flower pot. I don't know what to do to get rid of them. I've tried several things, but it hasn't worked. I don't know what to do.
Well, you have the Fire Ant Woman of the Year of the century right here on Making It Grow Tonight.
You're in luck.
All right, Miss Fire Ant Gal. She's got some fire ants in her flower pots.
Fire ants in the flower pots, very, very common. Right now is really too early to treat. the nighttime temperatures are going to have it where the ants, they may come and pick up the bait, but they may not actually ingest the bait.
So we can't use the bait treatment at this point?
Yeah, the bait treatments probably aren't going to work all
How
that well.
about one of the quick kills?
So she can probably use something that has acephate in it.
That's the one that smells so bad.
That's the one that smells so bad. And she can use that as a contact insecticide to get them out of the pot. What I would be very careful doing this, but you can kind of stir it up a little bit and use it as a drench that way.
So
or you can also
you wouldn't use it dry.
You can use it dry too if you want to. Since it was in a pot, it'd be really easy.
Oh, I see.
But using it dry, she can just sprinkle some on top, and as they come in and out of the pot, they'll get some on them and then end up dying.
Some people just pour tons of that stuff on it, but I think really it's just a very small amount.
No, whenever it comes to pesticides, more is not better. You have to read the label, do exactly what the label tells you to do, and it'll tell you exactly how much to put out. And as long as you follow the instructions, it'll work fine.
Okay.
But like I said, right now is not the time to put out bait. It's too early, it's too cold, and it's just not going to work.
And Garrett, it really has revolutionized life for homeowners to be able to put those baits out because they're not very expensive, and they do such a good job.
They do, and there's some good baits out there. It's just the timing is really what's critical.
Because that one, the ant has to find it and bring it back, is that correct?
Yeah, and as Bruce Johnson always say, just put you some nabs or some greasy potato chips out there. When you see them marching off to the nest, you know that they're feeding.
Then it's warm enough for them to be out playing baseball and bringing home hot dogs. Okay. We have Robert calling us from Aiken now. Aiken is, of course, where Vicky plies her trade several days a week, and we're glad that you called us, Robert. Thank you. How can we help you?
Hi, I wanted to get some information on obtaining and growing Zamia cycads. These are not Sago palms. They are actually a species of Zamias, and unlike the palmate type
the
greenery that the Sagos have, they have the same size calyx, or whatever you'd like to call it, shaped like a pineapple, more or less. But the leaves are more or less loriate, kind of like a bay tree. And I used to be able to find a few of them in Texas, but they're not real cold hardy, and we're about in the same latitude as Austin here, and I've been living here for a couple of years. My parents have been here for over 30 years.
And are you looking for some to try to grow in your home?
Well, I'm wondering if they can be planted outside. I'm developing a business based on an idea at the Albuquerque Natural History Museum that had greenhouses that were basically involved different periods in the Earth's time, and had obviously they didn't have the animals that lived there.
My goodness,
they had
well,
the
that is a
plants
fascinating
that were living
idea.
at the time.
Well, let me go ahead and let's address your first part of the question, if you would, please, which I think is if these would be cold hardy here, and if it's close to what I think it is, I don't believe it. I don't think there's any chance that anything that's in that cycad family. Would you think so?
No.
No.
There's very few things that, whenever you're in that group, that are going to do well here. There's a fact sheet on the HGIC.
Oh, wonderful! Thank you.
For palms and cycads.
Okay, great.
And they've got some
and they are fascinating. Aren't they kind of an ancient from like the time of the dinosaurs?
Yeah, the cycads are some of the oldest plants on the planet.
Well, I hope he has good luck with his Natural History Museum, but he's not going to have any dinosaurs, but he certainly could have some of those wonderful relatives of the cycads. Oh gosh, I just love chickens. I guess I shouldn't say I like to eat chickens, but I do. But I also like to go to places where chickens are, because they are such fascinating animals, and they come in such a wonderful variety of shapes and sizes. And we saw everyone imaginable, I think, when we had a glorious Saturday down in Lake City at the Pee Dee Poultry Show. Dee Poultry Show in Lake City, South Carolina is a judged event, and I'm with one of the judges, Mark Beasley. Mark, are you a chicken person yourself?
Oh yeah, big time.
And how did you get interested in chickens?
Well, I've been interested in them ever since I was a little boy. My granddaddy had laying hens and all, and I actually got into showing chickens really on accident. I went up to the state fairgrounds during the Sandlapper Poultry Breeder Show back in the 80s to buy some laying hens, and it was a show. And saw all the bantams and all the different birds there and got hooked.
Well, it is a remarkable variety that's here. How many different ones are there, do you suppose?
This particular show today, there's probably 150, 175 different varieties.
Some of the chickens, which one is the smallest and which one is the biggest, and what's the difference in weight, would you think?
Well, you have large fowl, which are your big birds, and then you have the bantams, which are your miniatures. Your bantams, your Saramas, your Dutch, your Old English are very, very small birds, 16, 18, 19 ounces. Then some of your big, large fowl, like your Langshans in there, are, come up halfway to you. They're big birds. So.
When you take this chicken out of the cage and look at it as a judge, what are you looking for?
Well, the first thing I look at before I take it out of the cage, I'm looking at the conformation, the style and type of bird, and make sure that the conformation is like it's supposed to be.
So if it's supposed to have long legs, you look for long legs.
Right. I use dogs a lot in comparison, like I said earlier, if it's a German Shepherd, you don't want it to look like a poodle. An Old English is supposed to look like an Old English and not a Dutch Bantam. So, you look at them inside the cage before you take them out, and you're looking for conformation and how well they're showing, because they'll show themselves.
And then when you take them out, you look like you examine them pretty closely.
You do. You want to take each set of wings, each wing, spread them out, and you're checking for broken wing feathers, dirt. Then you'll spread the tail and check for the tail, and then you'll check under the tail for any type of parasites, mites, or anything like that. Then you examine the toes and the toenails, and you're checking, make sure the color of the feet are correct, the color of the toenails are correct. You'll check the head and face, making sure that the combs has got all the points, and make sure that the earlobes are the color that they're supposed to be for that breeding also.
When the chicken is groomed, does a well-groomed chicken get points for its appearance and the care, or just and vitality it exudes?
When you judge a chicken, the type is first, color is second, and the conditioning is third.
So all that care is important.
Yes, very. If you've got a really spectacular chicken and it's, kind of ragged out and dirty, it's not going to win. It's a beauty contest.
Before a chicken can come in the door, there are some procedures that take place, and explain why those are there.
Well, every state, including South Carolina, has a national poultry improvement plan in place, and before you can bring chickens to a show, they have to be blood tested for pylorium and typhoid. And the exhibition poultry world has been doing this for so many years now that pylorium and typhoid is almost extinct. So it's a good thing, but they still check. Every chicken has to be checked and blood tested and made sure that it has nothing wrong with it. No pylorium or typhoid.
I know that everyone has enjoyed being here today, and it certainly looks like it's a family activity.
It is.
Do you recommend it that even can you get it in a small way? Do you have to have a lot of property, or is it something you can do in your backyard?
You can do it in your backyard. You can. The bantam chickens take up less room than the large fowl, but if you've got 10 feet by 10 feet, you can have 2 or 3 or 4.
You can have your own alarm clock.
You can, and they'll wake you up more than not. But
Mark, if people would like to find people in their area who are in the chicken raising business, to help them get started, are there some places they can get information and help lead them in the right direction?
There is. You can go online. It's probably the easiest way. Go online and type in American Bantam Association or American Poultry Association, and just go from there. Find your district directors in those 2 organizations and get in touch with them. All the poultry people I know are good people, friendly. They'll help you like you said, it's a family type atmosphere. Everybody gets along. It's just a good time. So everybody's glad to help you.
We've had a wonderful time today. Thank y'all for inviting us down here.
Thank you. We've enjoyed it.
Well, we did have a wonderful time. And that last picture was Vicky Dawson with her 11-pound rooster. He was quite a prize. And I just got kind of inspired by chickens and by the idea of ArtFields. So I borrowed a paintbrush from my husband for the art. And then the nice people at the Basket flower shop here painted these little palm fronds for me. So I feel kind of like a chicken myself, and I would hope that I would win a prize. And you know, we had more fun. We got to give this rooster a bath, and I mean, you know, it's hard to give a dog a bath, at least my dogs. And I've tried to give but this rooster was the sweetest little rooster, and this lovely young lady who was the head of the little group down there. We sat out there and gave this rooster a bath, and we put lotion on him. I mean, this chicken was more dressed up for a date than I've ever been in my life. And so if you would like to see how to bathe and properly anoint the rooster so that he can be a prize winner, Teresa's going to tell you how to do it.
Thanks, Amanda. I do love that hat, and it does look very chicken inspired, but with that nice artsy flair. And if you want to know more about how to groom your chicken, you can find the excerpt on the Making It Grow website, and you will see that it is quite a process. Everything from you know, you have to wash the impurities off of your chicken, so use a little dish detergent and give them a bath. And then as we go forward, we see that you know, you have to carefully wipe off the rooster's comb and add some special shining agents to get all of his parts nice and shiny so he'll show well. And you even file the rooster's nails. I am so impressed at how well the rooster behaved, but you know, it looks like to me it was sort of a chicken at the spa kind of day, so you know, I might like it too.
Well, and the chicken did seem to enjoy it. He really did. And if you watch it, I made a reference during the taping that it was too bad Vicky wasn't there because she's our nail expert. Show them how pretty your fingernails are. Vicky always has such beautiful fingernails. Well, we've got a caller now from Lake Wiley. Diane is calling us from over there. Diane, thank you for checking in with us tonight. And I hope somebody here can help you with your problem.
I hope so, and I love your program.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I have a lot of mop hydrangeas, and one of them, you know how the flower buds come out all over the winter, they make themselves? Well, they've all frozen and dried out. Am I not going to have any hydrangeas on those this year, or can I cut those off down to the green leaves and maybe get some?
Oh. Oh. I wish we could say something nice, don't you?
Yeah, they probably froze.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can give them a little more time and see what happens.
But they bloom on last year's growth, yeah. And I'm just so sorry, but I think that now these newer varieties, these endless summers, do they continue to set buds, Gary, so if you're in a place where you think you might have a lot of winter freezing, maybe you would want to try some of those so you could have some later blooms?
Yeah, you could. Hopefully this doesn't happen very often.
But you know, it was a very unusual winter,
was.
don't you think?
It
and
was.
I think most of us hope that this will not come again for quite some time.
Usually about every 10 to 12 years we get a good
and those hydrangeas, when they do bloom, they are beautiful and worth waiting for. So sometimes we just have to sacrifice 1 year for what happens. Charles is calling us from Williston. Williston is where I think Jacob Stokes lives. Yeah. Hey, Charles, we're glad you gave us a buzz. How can we help you?
Yes, ma'am. What I got is a cedar tree.
A cedar tree?
Yes, ma'am. What I do, I go out in the woods and you get them about, say, 2-3 feet high.
Yes.
You kind of plant them, and then they want to down me, and I keep plenty of water on them.
So you're moving them when they're 2 to 3 feet high?
Yes, ma'am.
And what time of year are you moving them?
I think it was winter time. I know that, you know. Then we tried some a couple months ago.
Okay, all right. Gary, you know, when you get those from the forestry department, they're about
they're
that
smaller,
big. And
yeah.
I think that maybe some of the pines maybe are harder to transplant. What would your advice be for him?
You need to get as much of that root system as you can.
I mean, he's getting them when they're 2 to 3 feet tall, and I think maybe there's more of a tap.
Now, one thing he can do, if he can go out a couple of months before he's going to dig them up, is root prune them. Just take a shovel and just go around.
Oh, root prune.
Yeah,
Okay.
and root prune them real well, and then you come back out and dig them back up. That way the plant has a chance to get adjusted to the new root system.
But Charles, the ones that the Forestry Commission do send that you can get from them, I think, are relative, very inexpensive.
Very small.
And I've known people who've planted them, and they've just had tremendous luck with them. So I think you might want to try that route, and maybe you'll have a little bit of luck because they have been grown specifically for transplanting. You know, we're so excited because we're all of us, Terasa and you and me, and Gary and Tony, and oh goodness, who else? Dr. John, Rebecca Turk, all of us are going to be together at the Bean Market Museum this coming Saturday. And we're going to talk now with Karen Fowler, and Karen is the director of ArtFields, and it is just incredible. Karen, tell us everything that's going on and what all this is about.
Amanda, we're getting so excited. This Friday, April 25th through Sunday, May 4th, we have over 400 artists from around the Southeast that will be in Lake City using our downtown businesses. I think we have around 43 as art galleries throughout our historic district.
So we can go downtown and get an ice cream cone or get our hair cut and find fabulous examples of art that was judged to be outstanding?
Absolutely. We last year, you know, Joe's Barbershop was a huge hit. We also have like M&D that has an original soda fountain, and it's been in business for a number of years. And then this year we have some exciting new venues of some young 30 and under business owners. So we're very excited.
And one of the things that I think is an incentive for people to come, now we certainly want them to come on Saturday for Making Grow Show, but Karen, y'all have wonderful prizes for the finest of the artists, and aren't the people who come able to kind of help judge and see who the winners are?
They are. This is a very important part of ArtFields. Each person votes. We want everyone to vote for your favorite pieces of art. And on the night of the finale, which would be Saturday night, May 3rd, the art will have been juried, and we will have $100,000 in prize money given out. That's the most ever.
This is just so exciting, and I think in order to get the fabulous catalog, you go to the Central Point and register, and that makes you eligible to vote. And is it easy to get around when we get down there to Lake City?
Oh, it is. It's a very easily walkable territory. We just know we're going to have great weather for the entire 10 days. It's within about a 3-mile district of just some exciting businesses. And then even the voting, we have made that very convenient this year. It will be held on Main Street. You can go in and register, and we have a full color art catalog of the over 400 pieces of art, as well as the artist names. We've made it very, very easy for you this year.
Now, I know you've got 2- and 3-dimensional art, but I think you've got something that might tickle people's ears as well. Aren't we going to have some other kind of artists on site?
We have a number of artists. We have a community mandala this year that is our public art project where everyone can actually make the art themselves. Kirkland Smith, our winner from last year, is putting this together for the 10 days. We have our Inside Out project that is Local Matters this year. You can come and read all about it, as well as just some very, very, very interesting pieces throughout very large art this year. I think everyone last year got the impression, go big. For 2014.
I think that, you know, because there is all these beautiful spaces in Lake City, that many of these installation pieces will just absolutely blow people's minds. And I'm really excited about some of the ticketed events, particularly one where Mac Arnold is going to play. But then there are others that are available to everyone. And I think is there a beautiful choir that perhaps is going to be involved from Claflin?
Well, we actually do have Claflin for our closing, but we start out, in fact, this Friday evening is our art walk, and we'll have Columbia College. We have the symphony from Florence, as well as some local musicians. So we have music and, visual arts and performing arts. Everyone just needs to come and enjoy, and please know it takes more than 2 to 3 hours. It's actually going to be 2 to 3 days that you need to spend in Lake City. We look forward to having you.
And I can say from personal experience, there are plenty of wonderful places to eat while you're down in Lake City, so you can stay and enjoy yourself. Karen, if people want to find out more and do a little homework before they get there, what's the best way for them to do that? Where should they go on the internet?
Well, we ask everyone to go to our website, artfieldsSC.org, and that's plural, artfieldsSC.org, or you're welcome to call our office at 843-374-0180, and there's always someone very willing to help.
I hope everyone will take advantage of coming down there. We especially want to see people on the 26th when we're at your wonderful Bee Market Museum. And you are so right, Karen. Everyone in Lake City is friendly and and wants to help. You've been so friendly to us, and we thank you. Can't wait to be with you again.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. You have created quite a buzz, making it grow. I think we're going to be a packed house, so everyone needs to get there early on Saturday to see the live taping of Making It Grow. Thank you, Amanda.
We'll see you then. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And now we're going to check back in with Terasa and see about these chatters and these people who like to just sit in there and view. Terasa?
Well, it doesn't matter whether you're an active part of the conversation as a speaker or just hanging back and learning as a viewer. We're glad to have you participating. You can submit a photo anytime to the Making It Grow Facebook page for identification. And thanks to Dr. John Nelson, we have what I think is just a magnificent photo submitted this week. One of the lupinus species, probably he said Lupinus diffusus, and that's a member of the pea family. So you'll see those pea reminiscent flowers, kind of a sky blue or almost purple color with a white spot on the top. And this particular plant is recognized for having special value for native bees. And sometimes I always say bees and people get all upset, but pollinators really have an important role to play in the ecosystem. And in the grand scheme of things, very few of them actually sting. So be kind to our pollinators. Amanda, back to you.
Thank you for that good advice. And Gary, is that related to the Texas bluebonnet?
No.
It's not?
I don't think so.
Okay, because you are from
Texas.
And y'all do have
bluebonnets
there. Okay, but not
Indian
here.
paintbrush.
Indian paintbrush. Okay. Well, at any rate, we've now got Marty calling us from Concord, North Carolina. Marty, thanks for calling us across the state line. What's happening in your garden that we might be able to help you with?
Well, Amanda, my daffodils have just finished blooming, and I was wondering if I was going to absolutely have to wait until fall before I could dig some of them up and move them.
Well, they're pretty hardy, and sometimes I forget where they are. What do y'all think? You think it's safe to go ahead and move some of them now?
I think it'd be fine.
There's we've got a fact sheet on bulbs that might help.
And I mean, there's no reason why she has to destroy the foliage when she moves them.
No.
And so they can replenish. And that is a hardy bulb. I mean, you see them coming up through asphalt sometimes. Yeah. So, and as I say, sometimes people forget where they are if you wait until too late. So I'd go ahead and give it a try. Margaret is calling us from right here in Sumter, South Carolina. Margaret, thank you for calling us. How can we help you?
Yes, I have an old cedar tree in my front yard, and the snow and the ice cracked two of the limbs on it. So I'm wondering, should I leave those alone or cut them off?
Well, are they cracked and kind of hanging like a broken wing?
Yes.
Vicky, what do you think she should do?
Anything that's broken and definitely dead, go ahead and prune those out. You want to take it all the way back down to the trunk. Now, don't cut the trunk, but take it back down to the trunk and.
So do you want to look for that branch bark collar? Describe that if you don't mind.
Well, if you look where a limb goes into a trunk, there's going to be a little raised area.
Okay.
And you want to cut just outside of that.
On the outside of that.
Yeah, because trees seal, they don't heal, so it has to seal back over that wound. And if you leave a stop sticking out, they can't do that. And eventually that'll rot and you'll get diseases and insects that can get into it.
And another tip, don't paint the wound. Don't put any tar, no spray paint or anything like that. You don't have to do anything like that because that tends to trap the bad stuff in. So
Okay.
Just leave it bare
All right.
and let the tree
Okay.
seal over it
All
itself.
right. Don't waste your money on pruning paint because it's not going to do you any good. Oh, you know, those gourd people have so much fun, and I just love to see the things they do. We've got several examples of gourd art here on the show. And the 9th annual Ghost Creek Gourd Festival is coming up this Saturday in Lawrence, South Carolina, April the 26th at the Ghost Creek Gourd Farm. And I remember when Roland went up there, and the things they had were just so fascinating and exciting. So if you are in that part of the world, I would certainly encourage you to make a trip to beautiful Lawrence, South Carolina, and meet the very friendly people who are those gourd fanatics. Susie's calling us now, and she lives in West Columbia. Hey, Susie, thank you for calling us. What's happening up your way?
Hi. I have a question. I have 4 fabulous lilac bushes that are known as southern lilacs, split-leaf lilacs. They're a true syringa. All my friends want to know what the Latin name is and where they can find them. I don't remember where we bought ours. It was 25 or 30 years ago.
And they bloom?
Oh, they're fabulous. It's called a split-leaf southern lilac, and they're just wonderful. They're a true syringa.
And they have the
But I
fragrance.
don't know what the first Latin name is or where you can purchase them. I think ours was shipped from Georgia somewhere. It was a long time ago.
I have no idea, and I have personally spent money on several purported southern lilacs, and sometimes I'll get something about that big that if I get my magnifying glass out, I don't know, is anybody running? I don't have the vaguest idea, but when you finally get somebody, when you finally find the catalog where you got them from, please call us back and tell us, and we'll ask around and see if we can find that out. I wish you'd put a picture of them on our Facebook page. We would love to see them. Okay. And you've got an idea for people who enjoy salads.
Oh, yeah. Quite often, if I can get out of here.
And I must say, you know, Gary has a young child, and apparently they occasionally stop and feed him at places where
They
you
sell
get
billions
fast
and
food.
billions of burgers.
Where they have billions and billions of burgers.
And there's all kind of ways of getting plastic pots, paint pots. You know, you go to the movie house and you get the big popcorn pots. And instead of just recycling them, you can do what are called lettuce pots. Just take a pot, of course you got to drill holes in the bottom of it. There's a bunch of holes drilled in the bottom of it. And just fill it with a good potting soil. And seeds are fairly inexpensive. Most of your garden
Compared to
centers
buying
will
lettuce
have
in the
seeds.
store. Yeah.
And what's nice about it too is if you like organic stuff, then you can grow it in here. And if you don't use any pesticides, you've got organic lettuce.
How about that?
And it's just as easy as filling this up with potting soil, then sprinkling some seeds on there, kind of meshing down in, keep it watered, and pretty
Now,
soon you're
the
going to
lettuce seeds are real little. Do you just kind of sprinkle them on top and then just kind of...
Well, what I do is I just get some in my hand and just kind of do like salt on something like that,
Yeah.
and just put just a layer of potting soil on top of that.
Just a tiny
Just
little
a tiny bit.
Oh, because they're little bitty seeds.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then they'll, you can make it as thick as you want, and you'll have a big old thick thing
And
of
then,
lettuce. And just,
if I understand, you can...
yeah, just
you
like you're
can-
cutting your hair, just come in and just mow it down.
But then it's going to
you've got
regrow.
lettuce and it's going to regrow.
Well, don't you wish that that's what happened when they cut you? That's a fun idea. I'm going to go home and do that because I do love lettuce. And, you know, when you grow it in the garden on the ground, it's hard to keep it clean.
And plus, you get a lot of people call and say, well, I just don't have room. Well, you know, it's going to take a whole lot of room for that. And you could actually put that in the house and put it up to a window or just a light, and off you go.
I may have to have a burger in my future so I can get a lettuce pot. Teresa, thank you so much for being with us tonight. It's such a pleasure to have you with us. And I'm going to tell everybody that we're wishing Teresa great luck on her presentation and her examination, which is coming up tomorrow and the next day.
Thanks, everyone. I will appreciate lots of positive thoughts headed my way as I give my oral presentation and take an oral final exam. Always great to be in the chat room. Looking forward to seeing lots of people this Saturday in Lake City for Making It Grow and ArtFields.
Okay, and I'd like to take a moment to say that I went to Swan Lake Iris Gardens today, and they, of course, the Swan Lake Iris Festival will be on Memorial Day weekend, but I wanted to show you some of the wonderful array of native azaleas and some of the hybrids that are in the fragrance garden, the Century Garden, and it is very fragrant, isn't it? And I think you've got a little something you were going to share with us too, please.
I do. So this is one of the weeds that is coming up in the yard right now, at least at my house. This is called Rumex. It's sometimes called red sorrel.
And it has that beautiful top to it.
Yeah, that'll have it's either pink or orangey color. It'll have a flower stalk on it. But this and
it's sour. People like to chew on it.
Yeah, they do like to chew on it. Sometimes they call it sour weed. But what you'll see here is that the reason it's such a bear in the yard is because it's got this rhizome right here, and you can see that it. I'm
trying to get it in the picture.
It spreads, and you can see it's got little sprouts right there.
Here we go. There you go. You can see how long the rhizome
right there.
is.
And this is short. This is a short, and it's all over the yard. But some folks. They eat this. It's sometimes considered a salad green. It's got a nice little tart taste to it. And,
well, I tell you, thank you. And if you come to ArtFields this coming Saturday, there'll be lots of wonderful fresh produce, and it won't be sour. And nobody will be sour. We'll all have smiles on our faces, and we can't wait to see you Saturday at 2 o'clock in Lake City.
Making It Grow is brought to you in part by Santee Cooper, South Carolina's state-owned electric and water utility. More information on green power and energy conservation programs online at santeecooper.com. The South Carolina Department of Agriculture, reminding you that certified South Carolina agricultural products help make South Carolina grow. McLeod Farms in McBee, South Carolina. This family farm offers seasonal produce, including over 22 varieties of peaches. Glory Foods, celebrating Southern food with a soulful heritage. Glory Foods, a way of inviting South Carolina back to the dinner table. FTC Diversified, a proud part of your local communities, providing communication, entertainment, and security. ArtFields, a 10-day art competition in Lake City, South Carolina. Additional funding provided by International Paper.